Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. Julian here for another Drops episode, this one for week 13, the first week of 2025. Before we jump into today's episode, guys, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And obviously, guys, Happy New Year if you're watching this in the new year, or if you're still watching this in the last couple days of 2024, I hope you have a wonderful and happy New Year celebration. Obviously, a happy 2025. Let's jump right into the content, guys, and let's take a look at some forwards that I'm looking to drop this week. And the first guy on this list is Alex DeBrincat, and no, he's definitely not a drop in all leagues, but him, like the rest of Detroit, has really disappointed this year. And if you are in a very shallow league, I'm talking like 8-man or so, DeBrincat is droppable at this point. He just hasn't been himself this year, and there are probably better options on the waiver wire. If you're in any shallower league than that, I'm probably hanging on to DeBrincat and hoping that he turns things around. Connor Garland is the next guy on this list. He's no longer getting top power play time in Vancouver, and he really has not been putting up a lot of points ever since JT Miller returned from injury. Small correction there. Elias Pettersson is actually out right now, so Garland is back to getting top power play time. He is holdable in very deep leagues, obviously, but honestly, his line mates are not really that great, and you can probably do better than Connor Garland on the waiver wire in most leagues. Will Cooley is another guy who's now becoming a drop. He had an awesome beginning of season, scoring lots of points, way more goals than anybody expected, and gave you a pretty safe floor with the hits. But over the last 6 games or so, the hits have kind of dried up, and he's really not scoring that many points anymore. So he's someone who's droppable in most leagues at this point. Matthew Knies is someone who always doesn't do that well with Austin Matthews not in the lineup. Usually when Matthew Knies plays, he does play alongside Austin Matthews, so he gets better line mates. And without Matthews in the lineup, he's just not producing as much and is droppable in most leagues. If you're in a super deep league, probably hang on to him though. And finally, Jake Neighbors, not getting that top power play time anymore and top line deployment because Holloway is getting the really good deployment right now in St. Louis, so Neighbors is droppable. In terms of defensemen, Travis Sanheim is the top guy on this list. Does definitely not need to be 75% rostered. That's a very high percentage, and honestly, he's not putting up that many points or many peripherals. He's someone that definitely can be dropped in like 25% of these leagues. He doesn't need to be over 50% owned, in my opinion. Thomas Harley is someone who's just struggled all year and at some point could turn things around, but it's not like he's getting top power play time, so it's not like he's being given like prime deployment to turn things around. He's not putting up many peripherals. He's really not putting up that many points, so he's droppable as well, in my opinion. Brady Shea has just been awful all year, and even though Nashville has been doing much better as of late, Brady Shea still not doing anything. I wasn't expecting much from him this year, and that's why he's still a drop. Owen Power of the Buffalo Sabres, with Dahlin back in the lineup, he's no longer top power play, and he's not doing a whole lot with Dahlin back in the lineup, so he's an easy drop. And Alec Vlasic is now no longer on power play 1 because Seth Jones has returned to the lineup in Chicago. He's not even getting power play 2 time right now. He's a pretty easy drop in pretty much every league right now. For goalies, Spencer Knight has been added in a lot of leagues because he's playing against Montreal. I'm actually watching that game right now as we speak, which is great, but once that game's over, definitely drop him. Definitely doesn't need to be owned in a quarter of leagues. He is a backup that doesn't get that many starts. Jonas Corposalo of the Boston Bruins gets maybe one out of every 3-4 starts at best. And honestly, Swayman has been better as of late, so I'm not expecting Corposalo to get too many starts besides back-to-backs. Marc-Andre Fleury got some starts while Gustafsson was injured, but he's back now, and Gustafsson's been awesome all year, so I don't expect Fleury to get too many starts going forward. David Riddick is the backup in LA. He played pretty well while Kemper was injured, but it looks like Kemper's getting pretty much every start, so Riddick is an easy drop at this point. And then Jonathan Quick of the New York Rangers is a strict backup for a very struggling team right now. I don't know why you would own him, because he literally has not been good when called upon in like 6 starts or something like that. He's definitely not someone you need to be owning for the maybe 1 start he gets per week. And that's it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.